Yeah, that's better. All right, now, they moved over here and put a wall around the city. But we had to have a gimmick to try to get people to come here. Another blind street. There you go. Our gimmick was religious freedom. You could be any religion you wanted to, except for Catholic. Because we were settled by the English. And the English didn't like the Catholics. Goodness, I'm a hot mess. Excuse me, guys. Alright, but anyway, religious freedom. You could be anything. We're called the Holy City for a reason. That's why. It's because we have over 144 churches within our historic district. This church that's across the street from us is St. John's Lutheran Church. St. John's was built in 1818. They added this ironwork in 1828. What are you trying to do? That's what happens when I shove down a piece of pizza. Alright. But anyway, all the Lutheran churches here in the city have red doors on them. It is the sign of the blood of Jesus Christ. And as you walk through the doors, it means you're cleansed. This church was the first church to have a black preacher. His name was Jehu Jones. But Jehu Jones was a freed slave here in Charleston. He ended up opening up one of the finest hotels on Broad Street. Now the thing is, it's called the Jones Hotel. He was also the first free black man to ride a bicycle in Charleston. So, little tidbits I learned in history. Now, another church, the Unitarian Church that we have right here. This is the second oldest church building in the city of Charleston. They started building this in 1772. And then this little thing called the Revolutionary War showed up. Alright? They actually used this, the British troops did, as a barn for their horses here in the city. Now after the Revolutionary War was over, that's when they completed the church. The graveyard is a little bit different than most graveyards you're going to see here in Charleston. And that's because it's a Unitarian graveyard. The Unitarians believe, they allow anybody to come in the church, by the way. You didn't have to be Unitarian. They basically believe be the best you can be. Now when you pass away and you're buried over here, they believe that when you die you give back to the earth what it gave to you, which is life. That's why the graveyard looks like this. Okay, they're not going to mow over your grave. They might weed eat it, but they're not going to mow over it. So there's that. Now there's an interesting story that goes along with this graveyard. I don't know how many of y'all know who Edgar Allan Poe is. Yes. Some of you might know who he is. But he wrote this Annabelle Lee story. Well, Annabelle Lee is buried somewhere in this graveyard. We don't know where, even still today. Her father didn't like Edgar Allan Poe. He was stationed here in the military as a sailor. So he managed to get rid of him, send him to Virginia. And the reason this graveyard was important to them is because this is where they met at night and to stay, Heidi. Well, her daddy busted him, of course. So he had him stationed in Virginia. She passed away of malaria while he was gone. He wasn't told this. So when he came back, she's in an unmarked grave, and her daddy did that, okay? Because he didn't want him to find her. But anywho, let it go. But she's buried somewhere in this grave, and her daddy purposely put her in an unmarked grave. Walk on, sweetheart. So he couldn't find her. So now her ghost haunts the graveyard. And my guess is they're going to have something, because usually this graveyard is open. I don't know if y'all know this or not. Charleston's one of the top wedding destinations in the United States. So we have a lot of weddings. And let me tell you, the last couple of days, I've seen a lot of wedding parties.
Yeah, you're kidding. There's a ton of them.
Yeah, a lot of girls come around here. We don't need any of that. We got enough girls in Charleston. There's 7 girls to every boy here in Charleston. So when I say that, that comes to the College of Charleston. That's what they do. I'm a little too old to mess with that. But anyway, guys, like I said, you could be any religion you wanted to be as long as you weren't Catholic. As a matter of fact, it only took 7 people to agree on one religion to call it a church and or a meeting house. I see you trying to make me. Nope, each one.